Hey, what's going on, good folks? This your man Chris Thorns. Y'all know what time it is. It is time for another news story. So, hey, as always, let's get right into it. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? As always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you're watching my content, and as always, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a pretty interesting story here. A sad one, as always. And another story that's involving the foster system. Okay. We have talked plenty of times, at least on my channel, about the foster system and how a lot of them are just failing these children. As soon as they get put in these programs, it's like instant death on them and whatnot. But rest for sure that a lot of them who does get in the foster care system has a better life, end up having a better life than they did with the biological parents. But unfortunately, this is not the case with the young fellow who we're about to talk about now. We're going to talk about Dakota Stevens. Okay, his real name is Dakota Levi Stevens. Okay, and we're going to talk about the lady who did the dirty deed, the lady who you see on my screen right now, that big. Okay, I'm trying to keep it somewhat clean. The big chick you see right there by the name of Jennifer Lee Wilson, to be exact. Okay, this story first hit the scenes 2 months ago from what I read, but it is now coming out that Wilson is the perpetrator in this story. What Wilson has done, I don't know why anybody would do anything this stupid. You just got to be evil or whatnot. Jennifer set her big over 300-pound ass on this boy, and he passed away from this. Let me say it again. She's 340 pounds for what I'm reading, and she set on this 10-year-old boy. For what reason? Well, you know what? Let me not do all the talking. Let me let y'all hear these news clips.
Ray and Lourdes, the foster mother of Dakota Levi Stevens, isn't yet in custody, but she is charged in his death, accused of asphyxiating him while restraining him. Home security videos show Porter County deputies on approach to make an arrest neighbors have been anticipating for nearly 3 months.
It's sad for what she did and how long it's taken.
Deputies had planned to take into custody the foster mother of 10-year-old Dakota Levi Stevens. He died in April under circumstances that weren't clear at the time, but prosecutors now say his foster mother, Jennifer Wilson, killed him when she lay on top of him in their yard for more than 8 minutes, cutting off the oxygen to his brain.
Laid on top of him for more than 8 minutes, cutting off his oxygen. That big woman who y'all see going across my screen down there sat on this boy for 8 minutes.
Wilson is now charged with reckless homicide, but she's not in custody because she and her husband were out of town when deputies arrived at their home.
My daughter seen it happen. My daughter walked by while that little boy was laying on the ground dying. So we were hoping for some justice today, and it didn't happen.
Court records show Wilson told deputies during an interview that Dakota was acting out. He'd run away to a neighbor's house, accusing his foster parents of hitting him, and he refused to get out of the car when Wilson brought him home. She restrained him on the ground with her body. In those records, a description of what happened over the course of 5 doorbell videos that captured the incident. The first 2, deputies say, show Dakota screaming underneath Wilson's weight, her body positioned near his head and neck. In the next 3 videos, he doesn't move. The documents say Wilson asked Dakota if he was ready to get up and, "Are you faking?" Realizing something was wrong, she asked one of her other children to call 911 and can be heard saying, "I was laying on him and he was acting bad."
Yeah, he had his behaviors, and we did have to put him in some holds, but it wasn't like we weren't sitting on him. We weren't physically on top of him.
Dakota's former foster father says he was taught how to safely calm the little boy.
And then just hold him like a bear hug. And then literally when...
Former foster father.
When we do that, he would be upset for a minute, and then he'd like melt in your arms, and that's what he needed at the time.
Dakota's extended family says they'd almost given up hope they'd see accountability.
I felt grateful that due diligence had been done and that justice will be served, but at the end of the day, it doesn't bring happiness because he's still gone.
He was just a kid given a bad hand, but he made the best of every situation.
Prosecutors tell us Wilson is not considered a flight risk, and they expect her to turn herself in the coming days. In Northwest Indiana, Jenna Barnes, WGN News.
You know, one of the first things that I think about when I hear this story is how I hear a lot of people in my culture say that versus us versus them, you know, white people always sticking together and this, that, and the third. And I guess I get that to a certain degree. But you can't just really say that's a fully true statement when you have stories like these of somebody who's another color, which is white, and it's a foster parent and doing this to a child, which is also white, you know. So I don't really just believe that that statement is 100% true, but I do believe it to a certain extent. But see, here's the thing, though. When we make them kind of statements, you know, we can stick together, too. But we make it hard for us to stick together because of the shit that we do to each other, okay? And let alone the shit that we do to other people's children, you know, which we have done a lot of stories showing this. You know, so at this point, it seems like to me, you know, it's just an equal thing, you know. Again, like I tell y'all, you know, race doesn't have shit to do with people doing stupid shit. It has no color to it. You could be any race, any ethnic, if I said that right. You are not immune to doing dumb shit. Okay? If it's in your mindset to do something dumb, you're going to do something dumb, okay? And this is real dumb what this woman has did, okay? Now, first thing first, I would like to know how he ended up in the foster system. Second of all, how many families has he been with? Okay, because again, y'all just seen the guy right there, and I think I'm going to try to reach out to him. He was the former foster father of him. Okay, so I would like to know how many families has this young fella been through. All right, now let's get on to Miss Jennifer. You know, you had to ask the question. You know, I mean, a lot of us, we like what we like. You know, look, I'm not a skinny dude. Y'all see it. I'm not a skinny dude at all. You know. A lot of people don't like big people, but a lot of people find big people attractive. They find them attractive, you know, but I guess it all depends on what do you like. But sometimes in certain instances, you know, you just got to think, you know, who is laying down and getting people like her pregnant because she got other children, so the other children are foster children, and they not labeling them as foster children, you know. But with the mindset that a lot of these people have, who is laying down with these people and constantly procreating with them? Who is doing this? Okay? And how do you feel, or do you have any shame when you have found out that the lady or the man you have laid down with is the one that's behind the demise of a child that you call yourself raising? How do you feel about that? How does it make you feel? You know, what? And then, you know, it says when they came after her, they was out of town. It makes me wonder, you know, was this vacation, or was she trying to slick a run, or what was she doing? Okay, and what was it so bad that this boy was doing that you had to sit your big ass on him like that? Come on now. And this is why I tell y'all, and y'all gonna listen to me one day, and I'm gonna keep saying that. Y'all gonna listen to me one day. When that day gonna come, I had no idea. But y'all gonna listen to me one day. And I tell y'all all the time, you know, cause it look like he have a little slight disability or whatnot, or he may be autistic, or whatever the case may be. But I always tell y'all, these children, the one that's autistic and stuff like that, they get hit the most. Okay? These people be having these children, adopting these children, but really don't know how to handle the fundamentals, or I guess should I say the pressure of trying to raise somebody who's dealing with autism. You know, they get real frustrated, and it does get frustrating because, you know, hey, I work with adults that have autism, you know. A lot of times it does get frustrating, okay? But you got to have patience, you know, because again, they didn't ask to have autism, all right, especially a child. They didn't ask to have it. Just a lot of them be unfortunate to have it. But it's supposed to be you as a parent, an adult, foster parent, whoever the hell you are, supposed to have an understanding of how things like that work. But like a lot of us have said, when it comes to a lot of these people adopting children, it ain't really for the children. It's for the benefits. And it could be the same thing with Jennifer here. It was probably just for the benefits. She probably never really gave a damn about this boy. Especially if I'm telling the truth, he dealing with little autism and whatnot. She didn't like that. You know, this her sitting on him probably ain't even the worst she done did to him. Or maybe it is. She probably outcasted that boy for the longest. She probably have. But she just did it one time too many, and it has surfaced that she's the one behind it all. And then this big motherfucker sit up here and tell her other children to call 911. You mean to tell me you didn't even have the decency to call 911? You did that, but you didn't even have the audacity to call 911, but you're going to put the other children in the middle of it and tell them to call 911. You got to be a sorry, sick son of a bitch to even do something like this. I wouldn't even do nothing like this. And y'all see how big I am. I wouldn't even do nothing like that. Sit on my child. Come on now, really? Sit on them knowing how big I am. I'm going to sit on my child because they're acting bad. Whatever happened to timeout? Whatever happened to discipline? All right? Not beating now, but discipline. Or how some people say they don't believe in discipline, they just believe in talking. They'll talk before they discipline them. Because a lot of them don't believe in discipline. Whatever happened to all that? It's got to the point now, these folks go straight to killing. Once a child breaks the camera back according to them, they instantly just kill them. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Not only I say do people need a mental evaluation before having children, but it needs to come to a point now that people who are trying to adopt children may need a mental evaluation as well. And that's a damn shame how huge this woman is. And she felt like she needed to do this to this boy because she claimed he was acting out being bad. But oh guys, but the story goes further than that. He tried crying out for help before he died. And hold on, let me see if I can put it up. I'm looking at it right here. It said, boy allegedly killed by a foster mom lying on top of him, begged neighbor to adopt him minutes before he died. That is sad. That is real sad. And this is why I say these children don't have a voice. That's why I, for one, want to be a voice for the voiceless. He actually begged neighbors neighbor, to adopt him minutes before this shit happened. And it went on deaf ears. Now I understand you can't just up and adopt nobody. You can't just do it like that. But just imagine a child running to you, pretty much saying something like this. Anybody with common sense should tell you that something's going on for a child to do that. Something going on. And I think that's kind of hitting me hard right here, that he actually was crying for help. But sadly, he didn't get it. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to play this clip right here with a former foster parent spoke out. And here's what they had to say.
Tonight, that boy's autopsy results are still pending, and police, while calling this case tragic, are keeping the details of it close to the vest. Now, those who knew and loved that little boy say this never should have happened, especially while living in a system that should have kept him safe.
He loved dancing. He loved singing. He loved investigating for bugs. He loved being outside. He was just a 10-year-old little boy.
On a quiet suburban street in Liberty Township near Valparaiso, Dakota Levi Stevens will never get to play outside again. His death leaving neighbors and loved ones heartbroken.
He had a smile that just made you forget everything.
Last Thursday, around 2:30 p.m., police say paramedics were called to the 200 block of Falcon Way for what they say was a medical emergency. We're told first responders performed CPR and rushed him to the hospital, where he died over the weekend.
He deserves justice. I mean, this kid was dealt a wrong hand at life.
Hayden Hetzel was Dakota's foster dad for nearly 3 years, beginning in 2019.
He could talk your ear off, honestly.
He shares that he tried to adopt him, but says DCS moved the boy to a facility for children with behavioral issues. Hayden and his mom, Sabrina, say Dakota was only just placed into the Liberty Township home late last month.
He died in the hands of foster care.
In a statement, the Indiana Department of Child Services said in part, "Our entire staff is heartbroken by this news. DCS works with stakeholders and partners across the state to investigate the death of a child anytime there is suspected abuse or neglect, and will take the appropriate action." Relatives say the boy's biological and former foster families were initially told by the state that they couldn't attend the boy's funeral. But we are told tonight that DCS contacted those loved ones and said they can pay their final respects after all. Since his death, a social media campaign took off called Justice for Dakota. He will be laid to rest on Monday, followed by a candlelight vigil later that evening. Reporting live in Porter County, Indiana, Casey Cronus, Fox 32, Chicago.
All right, guys, that right there was 2 months ago. Again, like I said, this story really hit 2 months ago, but it's coming out now that Jennifer, the foster parent, was the one that did it, so wow, this is crazy. I'm gonna see if I can reach out to that guy who was his former foster dad and see, can we shed a little more light on this situation, or at least give his thoughts what he found out what has happened. I want to show y'all one more thing, then I'm going to get on out of here. You got to love the New York Post for this. This is what they said right here. If y'all can see, that title. It says 340-pound Indiana woman arrested after sitting on 10-year-old foster son who died 2 days later. And they just did this. What's today? The 18th. It's officially 3:10 a.m. my time. They did this yesterday at 1:51 a.m. Eastern time. Okay. A 340-pound Indiana woman was charged with reckless homicide this week after she allegedly suffocated her 10-year-old foster son when she sat on him for several minutes, according to police. Jennifer Lee Wilson, 48, allegedly killed youngster Dakota Levi Stevens in April after he attempted to escape to a neighbor's house, according to court documents. Okay, excuse me. Wilson is accused of sitting on the boy outside her home. It was, she said, was a bid to stop him from acting up, the doc states. Then it goes on to say the obese parent tried calling his caseworker as the little boy, who only weighed 90 pounds, screamed, but he eventually stopped moving, a probable cause affidavit states. Then it goes on to say a doorbell camera showed footage of Wilson laying on top of the boy, even when he stopped moving, according to the affidavit. At one point, she asked if he was faking, but saw his eyelids were pale. The court documents state per NBC Chicago. When cops arrived, Dakota was no longer breathing and didn't have a pulse. Wilson appeared visibly distraught, and the emergency responder tried to save the boy. She said, I was laying on him and he was acting bad. Wilson reportedly told another child she was watching who called 911. So she was watching another child while she did this. She was watching another child when she did this. Man, I'm telling y'all, man, y'all are getting reckless out here relentless in and everybody watch your children. Y'all are getting reckless, man. Nobody's doing no research or anything no more, man. I'm telling you, this is horrible. This woman is horrible. 340 pounds versus a 90-pound boy. This ain't no damn WWE. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Anyway, guys, y'all tell me what y'all think, man. And thank y'all for listening. But we got to do better, man. Check these backgrounds, man. These are some horrible individuals. And it making me question the husband now. I mean, are you seeing it of this dude, or what are you doing? What are you doing, man? I'm out.